Recently, we sat down with Ambassador Robert Blackwill, former U.S. Deputy National Security Advisor and former U.S. Ambassador to India, to talk about China-U.S. relations. How do you think the universities like the Peking University, as well as think tanks, should innovate forms to make Sino-U.S. cultural exchanges more effective and reach a wider audience?
Well, I support very much the interactions between universities in the United States and in China, and beginning with students in the universities. But unfortunately, that is a very sad story to tell, because in the last few years, Chinese students attending American universities have been reduced by 100,000. From 350,000 or so to 250,000 or so. And that's regrettable, at least in my opinion. And even more regrettable is the fact that today, as we speak, there are less than 1,000 American students studying in Chinese universities. And of course, it's going to be the next generation that is going to eventually lead these two countries. And if this continues, if the Chinese students in the United States continue to decline, the number of them, and if American students don't study in China, then the two societies will know ever less about one another. And that's dangerous, because mutual misunderstanding is one of the reasons that conflicts begin. Wars begin, one of the reasons, as well as vital national interests and so forth. So I very much support the interaction between the two countries through students' exchanges. I'm delighted that I am here in China on this trip, sponsored by Beijing University, as I have been sometimes before. And I believe that Chinese academics and American academics and strategists in think tanks and so forth, the more interaction, the better. That doesn't mean they're going to agree always, or even perhaps most of the time, but listening to the arguments of the other side is very important. So I also support these individual visits by Chinese academics to American universities and think tanks, and the same for American academics and think tankers to China as often as possible. The so-called Track 2 dialogues between the two sides are greatly diminished, but I hope that will change too, because all of this is in the effort to try to understand each other better, because I think that the more interaction between the two societies, the better, and the more interaction between our respective leaders, the better. And I'll finish with this. I'm delighted that the two presidents are meeting, and I hope that they will further narrow the trade differences between us. But I hope they'll meet much more often than for big summits. It's important to use big summits to try to go the last 10% in getting an agreement on one issue or another. But I would like the two leaders to meet more often, simply to discuss the world as they see it, and not to always have to have a big announcement. Because I think the more often the two leaders meet, the more they'll understand how the other sees the world, and the other will become a human being, not just a president.